We were just talking to Jamie Weir, but then the breaking news has happened. So the eagle-eyed amongst us
Yes.
will see what it is. What is the breaking news, Jamie?
I think Zach Johnson might have been named USA Ryder Cup captain. It's been one of the worst kept secrets in golf. I think people, to be honest, even since Whistling Straits, he was the obvious man in the frame, the obvious candidate for it. And he's a safe pair of hands. He's very popular with the younger players on the tour, popular with the peers, the players of his generation as well. And he's sort of the next off the cab rank, if you like, in terms of he's been an assistant captain a couple of times, like a lot of American golfers of his generation, the likes of Davis Love and Jim Furyk and Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. He's a serial loser when it comes to Ryder Cups. He's been on 5 teams, and 4 of those were losing teams. So 2006 at the K Club in Ireland, 2010 at Celtic Manor in Wales, the Miracle at Medina in 2012, and then that thrashing at Gleneagles in 2014. He was in all of those losing sides, and after that 2014 Ryder Cup at Gleneagles, you may remember there were a few pointed words from the aforementioned Phil Mickelson in the press conference, and the Americans then looked at the way they did things, and they kind of tried to take a leaf out of the European book in terms of the blueprint going forward. He was part of the winning team in 2016 in Hazeltine, and as I said, he's now been vice captain both to Jim Furyk in Paris in 2018 and to Steve Stricker last year in Wisconsin when they won emphatically the Ryder Cup. So in terms of that European model of cutting your teeth as an assistant captain a couple of times, then stepping up into the big seat, that's what he's doing. Interestingly, there have been, if he were to win the Ryder Cup next year with the United States and Italy, he would become only the 4th man to have won an Open at St Andrews, a Masters at Augusta, and been a winning Ryder Cup captain. And the other 3 are Sam Snead, Jack Nicklaus and Seve Ballesteros. So that's some quite elite company he could potentially step into. But as I said, he's a sensible, safe pair of hands at the moment when there's this sort of increasingly bitter civil war raging in golf. He is a very sort of uncontroversial choice, and I think he would have been captain nonetheless if all of this over the last few weeks hadn't happened. But the fact that you've got a man who isn't going to say anything controversial, who's dependable and likeable and isn't going to be confrontational, I think it was a no-brainer for the PGA of America.
Well, let's talk about this little civil war that you mentioned that's going on. Saudi Golf League, Phil Mickelson, is he likely to be any part of this Ryder Cup team, do you think?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, really, because people had already sort of inked Phil Mickelson in as the US captain for 2025 when the Ryder Cup's at Bethpage in New York. And now nobody really knows what's going to happen with Phil Mickelson. Do the PGA of America really want to hitch their wagon to somebody as volatile and controversial as Phil Mickelson, who's still being so outspoken at the age of 51, when frankly he should know a little bit better? You know, his reputation is in tatters. His image has suffered a lot in recent weeks. I know a lot of the younger players have lost an awful lot of respect for him. So I'm sure that Zach Johnson will be asked, and I'll be speaking to him a bit later myself as well, you know, will he be one of your assistant captains next year in Italy? And indeed, have the PGA of America even said to Zach Johnson, you may not pick this man as one of your assistant captains because we don't want all the negative headlines that will come with it. So look, 2 years is a long time in golf, or 18 months, however long it is till the next Ryder Cup, and this may well have sort of been brushed under the carpet by then. But the Saudi Golf League isn't going anywhere. We saw that letter from Greg Norman last week, who's sort of fronting up this Saudi Golf League to the PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, where he said, this is just the beginning, this is not the end. So they're not going to roll over and go away quietly. There still is going to be a big play to try and form this breakaway tour, and Phil Mickelson is probably still going to be the face of it. So has he completely done too much damage to his Ryder Cup legacy? Will he ever be a Ryder Cup captain again? I find it very difficult to think that he'll be a Ryder Cup captain.
Really?
And I find it very difficult to think that he's going to be one of Zach Johnson's assistant captains. But we'll wait and see. Zach Johnson, I think in an ideal world, would want Phil Mickelson there, but I think that decision may be taken out of his hands.